Hello everybody, my name is Starlene Breiter. I am a vibrational astrologer and I'm also an intuitive tarot reader. In this video I'm going to be talking about the upcoming astrology for the week ahead. I will be starting with Monday, November 4th, going to Sunday, November 10th, 2019. So just a quick summary of the video before we get started. I'm going to be talking about the vibrational astrology because that's the type of astrologer that I am. And I want to tell you, about a vibrational astrology really quick. Vibrational astrology is an evidence-based approach to astrology. It's much different than classical astrology that's been passed down from the ancients or modern astrology that, has kind of picked up a little bit of everything. It's actually an evidence-based approach. Vibrational astrology has a group of researchers, one of which I am, that we research and we figure out if this stuff actually works. And if it works, we keep it in vibrational astrology, and if it doesn't work, then we don't. We figure out what does work. So it is a different approach. It's a different lens, if you will, to look through astrology. So I believe that it's wonderful. I've used it for years now in my practice, and I think that it's a great tool for anybody to learn or to understand. So with that said, I welcome you to like my channel if you'd like it, or like my video if you like it, and subscribe to my channel if you'd like. You can also hit that notification bell so you can get a notification from, when I come online or when I put my video up. And you can also give me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if this resonates with you. I'd love to hear what's going on in your world and how it's resonating with you or how it isn't resonating with you. So feel free to comment, like, and share. I really appreciate it if you do. Also, if you'd like to find me online, you can find me at my website is rockstarastrologer.com. That's my astrological consultation site. And you can also find my online business card, which holds all the links to my social media and my other websites that I operate, because I do have a few websites too. It is starlenebreiter.com. You can find those links down below. I also want to tell you that the Vibrational Astrology Conference, the second one, is coming up in March of 2020. Now, we did the first Vibrational Astrology Conference in April of this year, and it was wonderful. It was a great experience. I gave 2 lectures, and I really loved sharing the ideas, the stuff that I researched and shared with everybody. I thought it was wonderful. I got to meet so many wonderful people. I learned a lot about astrology, and it was wonderful. It was great experience, and I think this coming Vibrational Astrology Conference is going to be even better. Just because, as time goes on, we always get better at things. So feel free to check out the Vibrational Astrology Conference. The link is below. It is in Gainesville, Florida. So if you live in Gainesville, Florida, or in Florida or around, or if you can travel, wonderful. It'd be awesome. And it would be awesome to see you there, and it would be wonderful to get to know you, so feel free to do so. I am doing a vibrational astrology mini readings there too, so if you would like a mini reading, you can come seek me out. And even if you don't want a mini reading and you do watch my videos, please feel free to come say hi to me. I would love to say hi and get to know you in the actual physical world too. So with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the astrology for the week. The first thing I'm going to talk about are the midpoints from last week that are lingering into this week. The first one is Pluto conjunct Mercury, Neptune. Now this happened in October. It was October 22nd through the 29th, and it picks back up on the 1st of November to the 6th of November. The reason it picks back up is because Mercury went retrograde. And I want you to think about what happened between October 22nd and 29th. You may have a redo, a reover, so to speak, on the 1st to the 6th of November. This is really us digging deep into our subconscious or idealistic mind. It's kind of like saying we want to really figure out what we want with ourselves, and we want to actually make it happen. We have the power to want to make it happen. You may actually not want to actually do those things because Mercury is retrograde, but what I would suggest to you is to get a journal and write those things down. Write the things down that you would love to, create and manifest in your world, because I think this is a great time for you to do that. And since Mercury's retrograde, it's maybe not the best time to start projects, but it's a great time for you to think them up, write them down, and then start them at a later date. The next midpoint that I'm going to talk about is the Sun conjunct the Venus-Mars midpoint, and that has been a long midpoint. It started October 16th and goes to November 21st. The peak is on the 4th, so the peak is this week. And this is a very visceral energy. It's one where you would want to create something beautiful with yourself, with your environment, with your home, with your work, with your car even. You know, like what beautiful stuff do you want to bring into this world? You know, I think this is a beautiful energy for all of us. It's something that feels good. It's something that feels loving and feels energetic. So think about those things, you know, like how can I bring some more love into my life? I think that that's a great way to look at this particular aspect, particular midpoint, I should say. So that's the Sun conjunct Venus-Mars. So these next four midpoints that I'm going to talk about, and by the way, the midpoints are all written down in the description box, so you can look at those, and the dates are there as well, so you can see what dates if you forgot. But this one, these next four had all peaked on Sunday, on the 3rd, but I'm talking about them because they're winding up early in this week. So Jupiter conjunct Mercury Pluto is the first one. That started on the 31st of October, and then it goes to the 5th, and it peaked on the 3rd, like I said. And this is really us going beyond the limits of our mind. We could have great success in communication during this time. And since Mercury is retrograde, the communication may be more internalized than externalized. So think about how you can expand your mind from the inside, you know, during this time. And you may have a real strong desire to do that because Pluto has us really compulsively kind of wanting to do that. So that's Jupiter conjunct Mercury Pluto. The next one is Jupiter conjunct Venus Saturn, and that started on the 1st and it ends on the 5th, and the peak of course was the 3rd. And this is you know, in a big way, because Jupiter always wants to make things big. It's giving us a desire to want something lasting, and something lasting that we love. Venus and Saturn, I always call that real love, because that's kind of what they translate into in a simple way. But Jupiter's like saying, yeah, I want real love, but I want it big. You know, so if there's something in your life that, you know, if you're halfway in a relationship, you may notice that it just falls away. If you're in a relationship that is meaningful, you might want to deepen it. You might want to make something more, you know, committed to it. So that's kind of the Jupiter conjunct Venus Saturn energy. So the next midpoint is Venus conjunct Sun Jupiter energy. That started on the 2nd and ends on the 4th, and the peak was of course on the 3rd. And this is big love. This is happiness. This is beauty. This is art. This is feeling positive about love. So this is a really loving, sweet, kind of fun energy. It's a nice, nice, nice energy. So if you feel like you're energetically feeling happy or good at this time, do things that make you feel happy. Do things that make you feel joyful. This would be a great time to do it. You might automatically be doing it because it's like the vibe that's in the air right now, or during this time, I should say. But you know, you might automatically be doing that, but if not, then think to yourself, how can I bring beauty and art into my life? And how can I make myself pretty or beautiful, or my surroundings beautiful, or, you know, my car or my work? You know, how can I put beauty into that? You know, so I think that's an important thing for us to think about during this time. The last aspect, the last midpoint that is going on that had already peaked on Sunday is Venus conjunct Mars Saturn. Now this one is a little bit different. This can have us feeling a little bit detached from the things that we're attracted to. And the reason I say that is because Venus and Mars, it's all about love and connection. But then we have Saturn there, and Saturn is like, hey, if that love and connection is not really deep and real and lasting, then we may feel detached from it. If it is deep and real and lasting, then it will feel deeper and more intense. Try to find a way to feel something meaningful to your life. Try to put some energy towards something that's meaningful in your life during this time. I mean, it's a short aspect, it only lasts 2 days, but you really want to have something meaningful, you know, in your life, something that isn't just like fleeting, so to speak. So that is the Venus conjunct Mars Saturn midpoint. The next midpoint is the next midpoints, I should say, that are going on this week are new midpoints for this week. And this first one is Saturn conjunct Sun Neptune. That starts on the 6th and ends on the 10th. The peak is on the 8th. And this is really us thinking about our ideals, our highest ideals. That's Sun Neptune. Like, our highest ideals are what? You know, what does that beautiful life look like? And Saturn is about reality, about, you know, cutting away the fat, the frivolous, the superficial stuff. So, you know, if you're dreaming about something and you want it to happen and you haven't started it, maybe Saturn is coming along saying, is it possible? How would you do it? What would you do to make that dream come true? It's a great time to think about that. You might not actually like want to start doing those things, but it'd be a great time to do some meditation or some journaling or something of those sorts to actually start to get a thought and idea of what you want to create happen in the future. That's a beautiful midpoint for us to be working with, you know, from the 6th to the 10th. The next one is the Venus conjunct the Mars Pluto energy. That starts on the 6th and it ends on the 7th. The peak is on the 6th. And this is something about us feeling really passionate about what we're attracted to. Venus is what we're attracted to, and Mars is our energy, and so is Pluto. Pluto is our intense energy. So we really have this intense energy towards what we're attracted to. It may feel and come out like in a difficult way, but it may also come out in a beautiful way. The Venus makes it beautiful. So try to put your thoughts and your attention on your passions and what feels beautiful to you during this time. I think it's a great way to express this. You might also think about, like, you know, okay, so I'm in a relationship or I'm not in a relationship. I really want that. I really want to create something beautiful with myself. And if you aren't in a relationship, then maybe you want to go seeking something that is a beautiful relationship. And if you are in a relationship, maybe it's time for you to, you know, deepen it even further. So that's definitely, you know, how this could play out in your life as well in either scenario. And Ellie, my grand niece, would like to say hello. My cat grandniece, I should say that. The next aspect is Mercury conjunct Sun Venus, and this only lasts for one day. So it's on the 6th. This is us communicating love. This is us expressing ideas and love. Possibly, you know, it's internal because Mercury is retrograde during this time, but it is us wanting to express and communicate love. So if there is something that you want to express to someone, maybe write it down, because maybe you don't want to say it right now because Mercury's retrograde, but, you know, it's not going to be forever. And maybe you want to write it down because it's something that, you know, comes out of you at this time. And maybe you do want to say something to someone. Maybe it's a past love that comes into the picture and you want to actually express how you feel about that person to that person. You know, that's very possible as well. But either way, you are wanting to express and communicate what's loving and important to you. And the next one is Uranus at the opposition of the Sun-Mars aspect. This starts on the 7th and ends on the 8th. The peak is on the 7th. And this can be really impulsive behavior. It can be excitement. It can be sudden events that happen. And you need to really remember to live in the present moment during this time. The present moment is important for us to always be in, but especially when we're having these Uranian energies, because it's important for us to do that, especially when it involves Mars, because if we're not in that space of being in the present moment and we're like too much in our head back in the future or back in the past or more in the future, then we could have an accident. So just remember on the 7th and the 8th that this energy is present, and you probably want to just be present with yourself as opposed to being too far in your head somewhere else. Okay, and the very last midpoint I want to talk about is Mercury conjunct the Mars-Jupiter midpoint, and that happens on the 7th, and that is a one-day aspect or one-day midpoint as well. And this is telling us to put some thought and action into the things that we want to make successful. We have potential to have success during this time, But it may not be that we actually act on the success because of the Mercury retrograde. We may just want to journal these things down. What things do we have that come up to us during this time? Do we have ideas that come up to us that we really are thinking about? And if we do, journal them down so that at a later date, when the time is right, you can actually start the projects. I do think that there's a lot of ideas that are going on in our minds during this time, and I think it's an opportunity for a success. But success isn't always like an overnight thing. Sometimes it takes a while to actually unfold. So that's definitely an energy that is going to be present for us on the 7th. Okay, hi Ellie. Do you want to say hello? No, she doesn't. I was going to pick her up to say hi, but she doesn't want to say hello. Okay, so moving on to the 2 planet aspects I'm going to talk about. Monday, we don't have any aspects to talk about. That's the 4th. Tuesday, the 5th, we have Mars square Pluto. That happens at 5:23 a.m. Mars square Pluto is about intensity. It's about power struggles, and it kind of can be explosive. So if you're feeling like explosive or you're feeling frustrated during this time, try to remember that this is going on and don't allow yourself to feel like too intense. Don't allow yourself to go down that rabbit hole. This lasts from Sunday to Tuesday, so try to remember that if you're not feeling intense or you're not feeling like a power struggle, maybe your neighbor is. Maybe there is something, this Mars square Pluto's hitting something in their chart and it's giving a rough time. So remember that everybody's kind of feeling this during this time. So Wednesday the 6th and Thursday the 7th are no exact aspects to talk about. So I'm going to skip ahead to Friday the 8th. Friday the 8th, we have the Sun sextile Saturn that happens at 12:06 p.m. This is from Thursday the 7th to Saturday the 9th. And this is really saying that we can have success with steady effort. Sun sextile Saturn. Sextiles are like energies of like making something happen. They're not like passive. They want to actually do something. And the Sun is the essence of us. And then Saturn is like, our cutting away of like what's not important, so we can have success with our steady effort. So if you're wanting to create things or wanting to make things happen for yourselves, not new projects necessarily because Mercury is in retrograde, but projects that are, already in, irons that are already in the fire, just try to work with those and see if you can create, get somewhere with that, because I think you can, you can put a lot of energy into it during this time. Also on Friday, we have the Sun trine Neptune, and that is a one-day aspect. It does peak at 12:57 p.m. And this is idealism, this is romance, this is fun, it's sweet. Neptune is all about our highest ideals. The Sun is about fun, it's about us, it's about our energy. So we really may have this desire to like kind of think about what is our highest ideals, what would make us happy in the best way. So that is, that's Friday for us, since it's only a one-day aspect. And then lastly, for Friday, we have the Saturn sextile Neptune. So we had the Sun sextile Neptune earlier, and we had Saturn sextile Neptune in the evening. That happens at 9:51 p.m. Actually, this lasts a couple days too. I don't know if I said it was a one-day aspect, but it does last a couple days. It goes from the 28th to the October 28th to November 19th, and the peak is on the 8th. Okay, so it lasts until next week, actually. So this is a desire to bring a spiritual connection into reality. I did talk a little bit about this last week because it had started like early last week, and it's going through this week as well. The peak is just this week. So it's kind of less like us saying, what is our connection to spirit? And do we have one? If we don't have one, maybe we need to kind of think about that, like there's more to the universe than what we see, right? There's much more to it. And I think we all kind of inherently know that. And Saturn sextile Neptune is saying, hey, we have these ideals, these dreams, these desires in life. That's Neptune. And then Saturn is like, hey, how can we make them real? Cut away from the things that are not important and make them real. And that sextile is like an energy a presence, an energy, a desire to create and make something, you know. So this is a time that we may want to actually figure out what is our highest ideal. What does our beautiful life look like? So that is Friday. The last thing is Saturday, the 9th, to talk about is Mercury sextile Pluto. And this does last Saturday and Sunday. And this is us to a push to communicate. It's kind of intense communication too. And it gives us a chance to accomplish tasks as well. But this way of communication may be more like self-communication, like something inside of you as opposed to external, because remember, Mercury is retrograde. So we may be feeling like an inner dialogue going on, and, you know, pay attention to that inner dialogue. What's there? You know, what's inside of you? You know, write it down, make some notes, take some journaling, you know, because that will help you to understand yourself, you know, and how you're thinking and what you're thinking about. So that's a good thing for us to think about during the weekend. And on Sunday, we have no aspects. On Sunday the 10th, there's no aspects to talk about. So that leads me to the next section of this video, and this is malachite. Malachite is the gemstone that I am suggesting for us to work with this week. And the reason I'm choosing malachite is because malachite is a stone of transformation. It is a very powerful stone of deep energy cleansing, and it often cleanses itself. You can also cleanse it yourself a lot, because what happens with malachite brings in the energy, takes in the negative energy. So you might like take a piece like this and, you know, have it with you especially if you're feeling like you're in a negative situation, or you have a lot of energy that you're trying to clear up, and you might run it underwater. That will help to clear up the malachite so that you can continue using it. But it's a wonderful stone. It's also a dream stone to help you get close to your dream state. So you might take it to sleep with, and again, you might also, you know, rinse it underwater to allow it to let go of any negative energies that it's collected. So malachite's a great stone for that. And mainly the reason I chose it is because it's a very transformational stone. So that's the stone that I think that you guys might want to work with. It's not a very expensive stone. It can be found very many places. It's pretty green color, and you don't need a big piece to work with this. So that concludes my video. I thank you guys all for watching. I want to invite you to join me next week when I talk about the full moon in Taurus, the Mars sextile Jupiter, and other powerful aspects. And I welcome again for you to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you think. I love to connect with you guys. Please feel free to find me on social media. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next week. Namaste, everybody. Have a beautiful week.